Take me back to your first period story. Like, paint me a picture. Like, where were you? How old were you? Who was around you? What happened?
Okay, I got my first period when I almost was completing my fourth standard. So I was pretty young. And during that time, my mom was having like severe gynecological problems where she used to bleed a lot, like in clots, and she was getting really weak. She had to be hospitalized. It was really serious.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was in the middle of all that I got my periods. Kind of helped me to understand what problems my mom was going through, but then again not much, because I was like what, 11, 12 years old, so
Mhm.
pretty early.
Okay. And were
So
you
my
at?
mom was around. I was in my parents' home, like where I grew up. My
Yeah.
mom was around, and I was in the bathroom trying to take a shower when I noticed it. But I already knew that this is a thing, because I was seeing my mom suffering from an abnormality around, periods. So I called out to my mom. My dad was home too, and my mom said that by the way I called her, she understood that I have got my first period. So that's crazy.
Yeah. And so, with what was happening with your mom, had she had previous conversations before that point when you got your period with you about that you might be getting your period soon and this is what to expect? Had you had that conversation?
No.
Yeah, just on the day it came up.
Yeah, by the time I was I already knew what pads and everything were, because my mom was like using all that. She was bleeding all day. So
Yeah.
yeah, and she couldn't be around much because she was weak herself that time. So
Hmm.
yeah.
And how do you think her experience at that time in your life when you're 11 or 12 shaped your journey with your menstrual cycle?
I'm not sure it's because what she was going through or what, but I overall also I have this tendency to be very strong outwardly, and I had this tendency of uh, being like never taking a break on my periods, like it shouldn't be holding me back and stuff like that. So I had that kind of an attitude, which I now realize is not really necessary.
Mm-hmm. And where do you think you got that attitude from?
I think it was all overall being a single child, and wanting to be, both the girl and the son. And uh, subconsciously, I think I always wanted to fill up the space that a son has in a family. Because in my culture, women are were at least seen to be, someone who is very soft and gentle, and they are not very adventurous or rough or strong, while men do all the work, hard work, go out into the world. So I always had this need to portray that I am as strong and outgoing as a man, and being a girl shouldn't be stopping me. So I kind of overdid that sometimes.
Yeah. And do you feel that you naturally took on that attitude, or do you think you were influenced by your parents' attitude?
Some part is quite natural, because I even this day how I dress up or express myself is has a masculine touch to it. I'm not completely 100% feminine. I was struggling to find pink. I don't hate pink, but I just don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
So that part was natural, but then my parents saying that I'm the only child, and also appreciating when I am acting like a boy, because I can do both. So since I used to always get good appreciation whenever I exhibited such a quality, I think that it reinforced around how I carried myself or took decisions in life.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. And how did your dad react to you when you got your first period? Do you remember?
We didn't talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But I know that he knows that I know, but yeah, that's it.
yeah, yeah. And what about after you got your period? Did you have more conversations with your mum, do you think, as you grew up?
No, no conversation around it per se.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so how do you think that, with no openness and no conversation around it, has affected your attitude towards your menstrual cycle? Like when you were growing up in your teens and early 20s, what was your attitude towards your cycle?
I didn't like when I got my periods because I am kind of bound in a place. I'm in pain and stuff. Kind of always. So any conversation I had around periods with my mom would be like, it's unfair that women have this and have to go through this every month, whether they want to or do not want to bear a child. So that's the only conversation I can recall having with my mom around it. And the place I was born and brought up, it's, you feel guilty or you feel judged or being shamed when you go to a clinic to buy your pads. So, and I was one of the generation I could see that bringing in the change. Like I would not be ashamed about that. This is natural. I don't care what people have been doing or how they are treating. They should get used to this fact because it's older than them. So yeah, that was interesting too. But mostly what I think is I have kind of never synced in with my own cycle, except now I know the words that is the luteal and the menstrual phase. When I feel crappy, that's when I focus. The only time I focus on my cycle because I'm feeling crappy and it is an inconvenience to me at that time.
Yeah. And what do you think your mom's attitude was towards her period?
Yeah, so from what I've heard, like from an early point, she had a lot of gynecological problems. She never ever had like smooth cycle, regular cycles and stuff. She did not experience that much.
Yeah. Did she have the same vocabulary, like it's inconvenient, or like what did she think of her?
So like it's not fair, like that we have to go through this and the way we are treated, and how in our culture, in older generations, women were kind of shunned during this time. Like they're not allowed to enter the kitchen or the a temple and stuff. And while I believe those rules stem from giving a holiday to the woman where they are supposed to rest and spend time with themselves during the luteal and the menstrual phase, especially the menstrual phase. But then with the patriarchal corruption, it was used to control and diminish women later on.
Yeah. And did your mom experience that, where she like shunned from the kitchen or couldn't go to the temple? Or
now it's the kitchen work, and now with the family becoming smaller and smaller, kitchen work is something that the woman has to do because she has to feed her family. So but not doing a ritual or not going to the temple is just now accepted as the norm, as the thing to do, and not even questioned. So my mom still observes that, but I don't think she really gets her periods much anymore.
Yeah, of course. And what
Yeah.
about you? Did you grow up being shunned from the kitchen, or and still today like not being able to go to the temple and
I don't think that shunning from the kitchen is still exists, at least the areas I have seen. But
okay.
yeah, I was always discouraged from going to the temple or touching things that are used for religious rituals and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is important because my mom's another influence would be she had a part of family who was very much into spiritual path and learning, studying, having these rituals and stuff. And in their establishment, there was no such rules against women. That particular establishment and all the stories I've heard about it always resonated deeply. They were very pure. There was no control or bias. The only rule that they have is you have to take a shower, be as fresh and clean you can feel outside and inside when you come and do an offering. So I think that was, so she was pretty open-minded, and she tried to give me that, but then she was so much programmed to fear the society and comply to whatever is being asked. I think that also lingered a bit.
Yeah. And how do you think your culture, living in that culture where you grew up knowing, oh, you can't go to the temple and do the rituals and things like that, how do you think that shaped you and your attitude towards your period growing up?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I ever really cared about that rule.
Okay.
Because I was a kid, and this time I was talking to my mom about it, that even during my playtime, my play would be to do puja. Like I would just take rocks and make some temple or something out of it in a corner, and like pretend, or just do like offer flowers and stuff. So I had a different relationship with doing rituals, and I believe that it's a relationship between me and my universe or God or higher self, whatever you want to call it, and nobody else gets to say what I'm supposed to do. And yes, something is common sense. Like if you are having a conversation with a person, you would want to be presentable. You want to, be in a good mood. You want to have clear thoughts and stuff. So yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah. Wow, you're like so different to like you're really like tuned in and listening to like who you are, and like and following that guidance. So that's beautiful. And so growing up, did you ever see your mom, like when she's not in pain, but like was she able to take rest and do nice things for herself?
No, I never. My mom till that I have not learned one thread of self-care from her, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been always so busy.
Yeah, giving, and not giving to oneself. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. And so do you think that's impacted you in
A
your...
lot. Yeah, a lot. Like, until recently, I had no idea how important it was, what it meant, and how I can give that to myself and make my life better.
And so when did the change happen?
Like in 2019, 2020, when we are all going through the shift and waking up and looking at things differently. I was abusive to myself as well, like to be open and honest.
Wow. So that shift has come quite for that self-care, the self-care and slowing down has come quite, since 2020. Wow, that's crazy. That's very cool. And so if you define femininity as being like open and nurturing, going with the flow, creative, intuitive, cooperative, how would you feel, how in touch do you feel you are with your femininity?
Currently, I think I'm pretty much in touch with my feminine energy, about having good intuition and that trust and the ability to just flow and not restrict myself, being creative about things. Yeah. feminine energy, I think I feel pretty good with right now, and I'm working a lot with my intuition, which is amazing.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. And so if we take that definition again, so like the words that come to my mind, nurturing, creative, intuitive, cooperative, going with the flow, like flowing with the energies. How does that like come out in your everyday life? Like what's in your personality, what's in your environment, and what's in the activities you choose to do that all relate to that femininity?
Okay. So the intuition is something that you always use. So that aside, I really like to paint.
Mhm.
And whenever I'm doing that, although it is still an intimidating process for me to just go and do an artwork because I was in a gap for 10 years. But whenever I'm into the process, that when I feel most at one with myself. And on daily routine, like I cook for myself and my flatmates. So no matter how simple a meal is, a lot of love and nurture goes there, because I have seen this, like you make a simple recipe, the two person makes a simple recipe, and one person adds the intention for it to be nourishing and loving, and it tastes different, feels different. So I always do that. And I have two cats, and they're like my fur babies. And yeah, after adopting them, I realized that being at this age and everything, I needed something to take care of, and also had that part in myself. So that was cool to discover.
Yeah, that's nice. And what about in your personality with other people? What feminine traits come out?
Yeah, I'm very cooperative when it's like relationship and in social situations, to understand where I can, contribute or fit in, or also to understand when to like step back and just let things happen. And creativity, like being witty, or and even sometimes like being wise, like wisdom in at least ancient culture is always associated with a feminine archetype. So like giving advice to people, listening to them, and often having people, even strangers, just talk to me because they just feel that comforting space and energy. So that comes out a lot as well.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And how do you think your mom has shaped those feminine qualities that you've just talked about in you?
Yeah, so like in some of my videos, I even shared like how she uses that to nurture everything around her. I have seen her like nurture and give all her life. Like she has taken care of sick people. She likes to cook and feed. She has a beautiful garden. She teaches, and she believes in that, passing on the wisdom and the learnings. And she practices that every day with such diligent and respect and discipline. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's got a beautiful mum there. Like, yeah, to teach you all those beautiful feminine qualities. And how about your dad? Like, how do you think he's shaped your attitude towards men?
I like have a complex relationship with my dad till date. But if I say like how he has shaped my perspective towards men, the word that is right now coming to my mind is actually emotional disconnect. Like, and for a long time, I have seen men through that lens, attracted men who fall into that category, men who, and seeing men as people or the gender who always needs to be cared for, because again in my culture I've repeatedly seen a guy taken care of by their mom and then passed on to a wife to be taken care of, to put it very bluntly. And men from my father generation, they can't keep up a household for, even if their life depends on it, they won't be able to keep up. So yeah, it's only later when I was more open-minded, that I started even meeting people who have, especially in my generation, because so many have lived away from their parents, men have developed those qualities of keeping a household or taking care of themselves or listening even to others.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really interesting question to reflect on. And do you have any dreams of getting married and having children?
No, like I want to experience to have a long-term and a healthy, nice partnership, but like no, I've never felt the want to have children.
Yeah.
Or like a very family kind of a living. I don't resonate with that much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. And if you say with all the work you're doing on your feminine, and that can attract the masculine, and I don't mean it could be a relationship, but as in the masculine as well, like the outer world goals of success and tangible, what you can tangible like touch. What would you want to like attract with all this feminine work that you're doing?
So if so you were saying I'm doing a lot of work on my feminine side, which could attract some masculine aspect, which could be in terms of a partner or success. So definitely where I am right now in my life, I could wait for a partner. I want to see myself really balancing those two energy within myself, and like I'm good with creativity, good with intuition, but I want to see all that going into some direction and being tangible outcomes. So that's what I would like to experience now.
And what would you like that success to be like? What would you like to attract?
Abundance.
Yeah.
Of time and money.
Money?
What?
Yeah. Like what? Time and money, did you say?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And what would you do with the money? Like what do you want to, like, what's that money represent for you?
Freedom to travel anywhere, and even take my cats with me, because that cost extra money. And yeah, like for so long when I was in a job, when there was a cause to help, I always wanted to help, but I always, because I was making a fixed salary that I was also spending continuously, and never made a big contribution. So that would be cool to feed some hungry people in Somalia or something.
Yeah. And where do you want to travel to? Like in India or overseas?
Overseas, I want to first visit my friends in Canada and US that I made in the last 2 years, and they have been so supportive and so understanding of my vision and my path. So first, I think I would visit them, and then definitely go on a trip to Egypt or Peru. So there's so many places to visit and so many things.
Yeah.
Budapest is beautiful too. I live in a beautiful, beautiful city.
Yeah, you do. You sure do. Do you get to meet lots of people in Goa? Like, is there travelers still coming through, like people from around the world, or?
Yeah, people from around the world already live here. Like there is a place where a lot of people from Russia come and live, and there are other like Germans, and they have the pockets here in Goa where they come and live here because it's free, and they wanted to get away from whatever their life was there. And tourism is open now, but mostly people from around India come and go.
Yeah.
International tourism has tanked after
Yeah.
the pandemic. But yeah, if you go on a Friday night or any night in the busy streets, you could meet so many cool people doing so many cool things in their lives. But I don't go out much.
Yeah. Do you think you could meet people not on the party scene? I'm not talking about that, but meet more like-minded people that could connect with your work if you went out to some conscious events and stuff like that? Conscious.
Yeah, they have that too. They have that too, but let's see. Like, of
Let's see.
course, I
Yeah.
haven't found anything like that, but I know there are such things in Goa, and many people from abroad also come, and I know people out there mostly resonate with what I do. So who knows who you will meet today?
Yeah, and what about putting a workshop on in Goa, like for these people as well? Like, would that be something you'd be interested in or not really?
I'm interested in, but I haven't quite figured out. Like, I feel right now that I still haven't made the basic connection that I would need to host a physical workshop. Like I need to get the word out. I need a venue and stuff.
Mm,
But I'm still not there yet.
yeah, yeah. Maybe one day, but I can see it because whatever you do on your YouTube and whatever you talk about is a talk you could give. Maybe that's not a workshop, maybe it's a free talk or something that you give. But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, we are
Wow.
doing. Sorry, we are doing a retreat in the mountains though in September, where I will be taking 1 to 3 sessions. There is a 2 night thing, so I'm looking forward to that and what that brings.
Okay. And so what sessions will you be doing? What are you doing there?
So it's mostly the event is around we take people to the mountains and they get to enjoy the nature. And one of the sessions I want to do is take them to a nature park in a hike and really help them connect with the nature and get away from their thoughts about problems or business or whatever, and really feel the energy of those rocks, because rocks and trees and water and whatnot, because Himalayas is still very untouched, it's pristine, and the vibration there is really high. So I would like people to tune into that and observe that and let it in.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow, that's so good. And would you like to do more of that? Like, and get more, like, is that what you want to do as well? Do something
Yeah,
like
I'm just getting started, and like I said, like, I want to travel a lot, and that could be like I could get together with other people who are doing this work and have these workshops or 3-day events for people to come in and experience a transformation, experience a different perspective, and take home tools that they can use to make their lives better and change whatever they want to change in their reality.
Yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. That's very exciting. I love it. That's cool. It's something to look forward to. And is it mostly Indian people that you've got, or is it like foreigners?
I mostly talk to foreigners. Like so far, it's had been easier to get across my thoughts and what I'm trying to do from people outside of India, which I wasn't expecting. But it's cool. I like that.
Yeah, you like it? Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Cool. Well, they were all the questions for me. Do you have anything else you want to share about like what's been happening with the challenge before we go? Are you all good? Everything's good with you?
Yeah, everything's good with me. And there was this time when I was not being able to upload the videos, but I was like, but this is the beauty of the life I chose. There is no hard and fast like deadline until like I have the intention to do certain things, and time, like we have given up on the concept of time like long ago, so that's okay. But yeah, this challenge, I love it because it kind of, gets me tuned in with my cycle, and a lot of things that I was doing intuitively is like confirmed with the forecast that I get. Like today's forecast is exactly same what I talked about in last night's video. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. You've only got, I think after Wednesday, you've only got a week left. Like it goes so quick.
So fast. Oh my God. This has been the like quickest 18 days of my life. And I appreciate you so much for going through each and every video and putting your comments. Like it always warms my heart. So thank you so much.
Well, I can't thank you enough. And remember, I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm here. I'm with you on your whole journey. And it is such a blessing to get to know you. And thank you for sharing what's been happening in your life, like getting to know your mom and going on the train with you. Like I was right there with you. I seriously was. I knew I just was like with you. I knew what you were doing and what you're up to. And it was just such a blessing to watch. So I can't thank you enough for putting in those clips and showing us your life. It truly is a blessing. Yeah.
So much fun sharing them. And in the local train, like people, actually somebody asked me, like, have you not been on one before?
Oh, that's funny. Yes, I've been on this a million times. So you think that your life is boring, but I've been on this train millions of times. No one would care, but I'm just like glued in. I'm watching. I'm like, wow, this is cool. Like getting to see someone else's life. It's awesome. Yeah.
Did you see the cows? I
got
some close-up cows for you.
Yeah, I saw the cows. They were very good too. Yeah. I see everything. I watch everything. Yeah. Well, I'll let you go for the rest of your afternoon. And now you're going into your luteal phase. So what energies are you expecting to come up for you this week?
Yeah, very introspective and recalibrating energies, like thinking about what needs to be put aside and what needs to be focused on. So very introverted energy is what I feel these days. And it's kind of challenging to put out content when I'm in this mood. So I think I should plan ahead for that as well.
Yeah, and remember, be creative, because Zunia and Lisa couldn't show up on some days, and what they did is they put the words on the screen. So there's that option, and they done voiceovers over the top, which you've been doing. And so yeah, just trust your intuition. Try and show up, but maybe do it in a different way, like where you're not on camera. And maybe. And remember, it can even, if you can only want to do a minute video and that's all that has to be expressed, that's okay. But it's really up to you and your creativity. And remember, go over your intention video on why you're doing this challenge, because it is going to get harder now. This week is going to be your hardest week to show up. But I really hope that you can find the motivation, the inner motivation, and remember why you're doing it. This is only going to be one more week of your life. That's it. That's it. One more week. Come on, you can do it.
Yeah, I was not even talking about this challenge because I love doing this challenge. It gives me I always looking for something interesting from around me to share. So that's really nice. But I was actually talking about talking to other people and doing other content which are more salesy or marketing. I can't do this during this phase. So
okay, yeah, that's gonna be hard too. Yes. Yeah, so then you're gonna have to plan, when can you plan those videos around your energies of your cycle? When's the best time for you to do those videos? Yeah.
That could be the follicular. Like I have no filters, like is what I observed during my follicular. Like no filters at all. I don't care what the rules are, what the norms are, what is expected of me. That was interesting too.